Hello everyone, welcome back to Kiran's English Hub. So we are continuing with the summaries of 8th class English, and we are so far completed up to Unit 5, and all the lessons of English of 8th class till Unit 5 have been already uploaded into the 8th class playlist. You can view those videos visiting the playlist 8th class English. So in the video now which you are going to see is the next lesson, which is about art and culture. That is the theme of this whole unit, and in this 6th unit the reading A is the story of Ikat. Okay, so this is the topic I am going to discuss here in this video. So yes, let me just zoom out. So here we can see reading A, B, C, the story of Ikat, the earthen goblet, that is poem, and reading C, that is maestro with a mission. So here this is the image which relates to the poem, and as you can see here on the right side, art and culture. So in this whole unit we are going to see the lessons which are related to art and culture, and please focus on the lesson. And before getting into the lesson here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to receive the updated videos. So art and culture, look at the pictures and answer the questions that follow. So here once observe the pictures that are on the screen. See here the pictures of these dolls, the pictures of these different fabric threads and all. Okay, the images of Lord Ganesha and a cultural dance here on the right. Got it? So next one we have questions. First question is, what do you see in these pictures, or where do you find them? So you can see that in these pictures it is the representation of different cultures. So the first picture is represented of one culture, second one, third one, and fourth one. So you must be able to answer where do you find them, in which states you find them. Next one, why did the woman make up herself differently? Do you find anything unique in the makeup of woman in the picture? What could be the occasion for this makeup? So see here in this first picture the question is like, when do the people make up in this way? The woman which you can see here on the screen, the doll, woman doll, is so colorful. Okay, you can see that she has worn a new sari and wearing a jewelry. So it might be the festival, the time for festival, right? Next one, are these handcrafts and the makeup a part of our culture? Give reasons to your answer. So here we can see that these follows are related to some different cultures. So the question is like, are these handicrafts in the sense they are made by the hands? So do they represent any culture? Yes, of course they represent cultures, different cultures. So now you can also give reasons to your answer. Okay, you can say that particular picture relates to one culture where they perform differently and all. Okay, so we have oral discourse, that is talk on art and cultural forms of your area. So you have to speak about the art forms and the cultural forms which are there in your area. Okay, in your area in the sense, if not in your locality and area, you can speak about the art and culture which you have in your district or in your state, right? And the next one here is the reading, that is the story of Ikat. Okay, so what is this story about? So here in this story you are going to see a classroom setting where the teacher comes to the class and explains to the students about many fabrics, the colorful and the different fabrics, and gives the information of those fabrics regarding like where they are and all. Okay, from which places they have been brought and what is their importance, what is their significance. Okay, so here we are going to see the classroom situation, but in this you have to focus not on the classroom situation but on the information that the teacher is giving to the students. Okay, so here the bell rang for the next class. The small break before the class now was enough for the children. So there was break before this class, so immediately there was bell for the class. They moved around and started chatting. The mandatory 5 minutes was over and the teacher did not come. So what happens in the school, like immediately if the break time is over, like there will be like nearly 5 minutes where the students will be like sitting right. So you all know, right? So as you are all children, what do? So after the break, you don't directly come and sit quietly. You spend some time speaking and chatting to your friends and all, right? So it takes nearly 5 minutes, and the 5 minutes was over. The teacher didn't yet come to the class. The children started wondering. The children were just waiting for the teacher here. Ramya, do you think Janaki teacher is absent? Ramya, looking out of the classroom, said, "How do I know?" So immediately there was someone who asked, Ramya, do you know about Janaki teacher? Did she come to the class or not? And immediately Ramya said, "How do I know? How can I know?" And immediately a few students were grinning in sense like, smiling. It is not just laughing, it is just a type of a small smile. So everyone knew Ramya loved Janaki teacher who taught them social studies. So who is Janaki here? Janaki is the teacher who teaches social studies to these students. And this girl Ramya is a student who is little close to Janaki teacher. Okay, next one. Suddenly they noticed the teacher carrying bundles of cloth walking towards the class. So suddenly when they were discussing and chatting like this, the teacher was there. So she was just walking towards the class. A few of them dashed to help her. They all liked her as she was fair to everyone and was never partial to one student. The brilliant red and black checked rumals, shawls with black and blue geometric patterns caught the attention of the teacher as the teacher handed over the material to the eager helpers. So this teacher was seen coming towards the class, and a few of the students dashed towards her, in the sense dashed to help her, in the sense they like ran towards the teacher, the way which you do, like if any teacher is carrying like two baggage in their hands, what do? You just directly immediately run to the teacher to help them. So everybody used to be liking, like they liked this teacher because she was fair to everyone. She didn't have any partiality, like this student is great, that student is great, this is not. Okay, so she was like treating everyone so equally. So because of this reason, every student liked her very much. And she was holding something, that were the brilliant red and black checked rumals, shawls with black and blue geometric patterns caught the attention. So she was holding the rumals. Rumals are just like the rumal which you have the kerchief type, and the shawls which are just like the towels, long ones, okay, where they are very colorful and they also have some black and blue pattern on them. So the teacher was carrying all this, and all the students immediately started to focus on the things that she brought. Okay, so now she pinned them neatly on the soft board, and the drab class suddenly looked vibrant. Okay, so immediately she brought all of them, she pinned them down, in the sense she kept all these vibrant different color cloths and all on the table. "Teacher, what are these fabrics? Why did you bring them?" Children pelted her with questions. So immediately if the students see something new, what do? They want to get clarity. Till they get clarity, they won't leave the teacher, right? So because of these new clothes and all, they are now just confused. We are in the social class, but why we are having these clothes and all in front of us? So they were pelting her with questions, and they were continuously asking her questions. Okay, she smiled and wrote on the blackboard, "Textiles of India, Ikat of Andhra Pradesh." No one could spell Ikat. Someone yelled, "Ikat," and few children giggled. Janaki teacher said it is pronounced I as in Kha, as in Kamala, and the T as in Tha in both. Okay, so she gave the pronunciation there. Okay, so Kha as in Kamala, Ka, and Tha as in both. So Ikat. Okay. So Ikat is an Indonesian term meaning to bind or knot. So this is an Indonesian term. Ikat is an Indonesian term. So it is the meaning of this term is to bind or to knot. You know binding, right? When you bind two separate threads or when you make some knot for the two separate threads, it is called as now as Ikat. Okay, so it is an Indonesian term. So the class felt silent. So immediately when she was explaining its pronunciation and the word belonging and all, immediately the class was so silent. They were like listening very carefully. Ramya asked, "Teacher, are these fabrics from Indonesia?" Teacher shook her head and said, "Children, can anyone remember seeing designs like this?" Raghav said, "Teacher, the pattern on the rumal is similar to the one on my mother's sari. Though the colors are not the same," Janaki was pleased. Okay, so now, Ramya asked, "Teacher, are these fabrics from Indonesia?" Because the term is from Indonesia, right? So the teacher, she just shook her head, like saying, "No, no." And immediately she asked like this, "Children, does anybody remember seeing these colors before? Okay, these type of designs before?" And immediately Raghav, one of the students, he said, "Yes, teacher, I have seen the same rumal pattern on one of my, the saris of my mother. So though the colors are not the same, the patterns were the same." So now Janaki was pleased, the teacher was pleased, because there was a student, at least one student, who knew about this, okay, who knew about this pattern at least. She persisted, "Can anyone tell me the name of the place? It is close to our state capital. There, I give you a clue." Okay, so she didn't go deep into the question which he asked before, and she immediately went to the second question. She was asking, like, "Can anyone tell me the name of the place where this type of pattern cloths are produced?" And she also gave the clue that it is very close to our state, right? So the children started shouting names of all towns in the state. In the midst of the babble, someone said, "Nalgonda," and the teacher said, "Correct." So when she asked the place of this cloth, immediately all the students started to shout different names, all the city names and all. And in between them, in among these students, there was someone who said Nalgonda, and immediately teacher said, "Yes, correct. It is Pochampalli village in Nalgonda district." Everyone immediately connected to the name. "Teacher, we forgot, we could not link. We all know Pochampalli." Teacher said, "Quite. Let me tell you the story of Ikat. It is a story of our handlooms." "What are handlooms?" Ahmad was first to voice the question in everyone's mind. So immediately, after asking the question and getting the name, the teacher said, "Yes, it is Pochampalli. It is a village which is in Nalgonda district." And everyone immediately connected to that point. And someone said, "Teacher, we forgot, we couldn't link that topic. We all know Pochampalli, but we forgot it." So immediately teacher said, "No, no, you just be quiet, and okay, don't speak anything, and let me tell you the story of Ikat now. Okay, you know what is it and where is it from, and now I will be telling the story of Ikat, and it is the story of handlooms." And immediately one student here, Ahmed, wanted to know the meaning of the name, meaning of this word handloom. So the teacher gazed around the class and said, "A hand operated loom which waves and has been waving fabrics for centuries." What is it? This handloom is nothing but it is operated, okay, a hand operated and loom which waves and has been waving fabrics for centuries and centuries. This is it is a type of machine, okay, which is operated by hand, and it has been weaving saris and different clothes for centuries. So in the race with the machine, we have forgotten our heritage, she also mentioned. So in this race, because of the competition of the modern machinery without using the hands and all, we even forgot our heritage. She also mentions that this handloom is our heritage. She fell silent, and the children recognized her pensive mode and kept silent. Someone hesitantly asked, "Teacher, you mentioned the story of Ikat." So when the teacher was saying that we are forgetting our heritage and all, everybody understood that she teacher was she teacher really meant it, and she is little bit she means what she says. Okay, so she is little bit sorry for losing the heritage here. Okay, so everybody understood that the teacher is little bit in a sad mood and didn't like try to question her. And in between, someone was so hesitant and asked, "Teacher, we were speaking about the story of Ikat." Yes. So here in this picture, students, you can see a man wearing the sari or some cloth. Mostly it is sari only. Okay, so here you can see the machine which he is holding. Okay, in the right side it is just like the pedal which he just pulls from both sides. Okay, gradually. And these are the threads which are tied at the end. Okay, and finally, see here the threads are divided, and after looming, this is the middle part here, the place where his left hand is there, this one. And after looming, you can see that there is sari. See here, you can see the sari right here, from here to here. So here it was simply the threads, and when it is loomed here, you can see after weaving it is a sari. Okay, so this is how the handloom machines used to be working. And even now also in some of the places in Pochampalli, Sirisilla and all, still these type of handlooms are there. Okay. Yes. Now Janaki, the teacher, she began. It is called Chitki in Telugu, Patola in Gujarati, and simply Ikat in Oriya. Children's attention was divided between her words and the fabrics as she opened a silk Patola saree from Patan, Gujarat. It had a red design on a black background with rows of flowers in the border. The simple leaf design repeated across the body, and the flowers in the border created a mesmerizing effect. So Janaki, the teacher, she started to tell about this, the story of Ikat, and she said, so in Telugu it is called as Chitki, and in Gujarati it is called as Patola, and it is called like Ikat in Oriya, right? So here the children started to like combine the fabrics and the words which she was mentioning of different languages. And she also on the other hand opened a silk patola sari. This is a sari from Gujarat, Patan. And that sari, it was completely in black background with rows of flowers on the border, and also it also had a red design. There was a a design which was in the shape of the leaves, and it was very good. Okay, the border was very good, and the flowers on the border created mesmerizing effect. The saree was so beautiful. So now the teacher said, she continued saying, "Are you thinking about the word ikat or tie and dye while you're looking at the fabrics? What can be the origin of this word?" No one answered, but looked expectantly as she continued. In hand weaving, we have threads stretched lengthwise called wrap, and threads intersecting them width wide called weft. Imagine the graph sheet and the x-axis and the y-axis now, how they crisscross to form square motifs. Ahmad was excited. Teacher wrap is stretched along y-axis and weft along x-axis. The teacher was thrilled as a new understanding came. So here the teacher continued saying, like, are you thinking about the word ikat or are you thinking about the word which is tie and dye? So looking at the fabrics and all, she also said, so this is called, like it is just like the wrap and weft. It is just like x and y axis crossing. Okay, so when you just draw the two patterns, okay, like the x and y axis together, you can see that there is a certain shape or a certain imagine a graph. Okay, so it is just like that. So you can see a certain design there which is very mesmerizing. So she said, so these are the fabrics which are constructed into these type of designs by using that handloom. Moving on to the next page here, Janaki said, in Ikat, the threads are carefully sorted, wrapped, and weft divided into bundles, and then tied with locally available waterproof materials like plastic sheets, rubber strips from car and bicycle tires, then dropped into color. So now in Ikat designs, she said that these threads are carefully sorted, like divided into single pieces. Then after that they will wrap that and they weft divide into bundles. Okay, they just tie it into these type of bundles and all. And finally they will be using the available waterproof materials like plastic sheets, rubber strips from car bicycle tires and all. And what do they do is they as just like the design that they want, they will place these plastic sheets or rubbers and all in that particular design. Okay, and finally they will drop these bundles, the thread bundles, into the color. So if they want, for example, the yellow threads, they will drop this bundle into yellow color. Okay, so now once you untie the knots, you can see white threads dotted with colors at intervals in the sense like just it is a difference of like 1 inch. So in each, for each 1 inch you can see different dots and different designs and all. So that designs can be made only with the tying of these knots, with the tying of these plastic sheets. Okay, so wherever they want it to be white, they tie this plastic sheet in that place white, and rest of the place is left, and that place will be completely covered with the color. So Ravi said, teacher, how do they know where to tie the knots? Janaki smiled. The ties indicate the design we want. We can look at the design or a motif and a tie. Ravi looks puzzled. It did not seem simple. So now, immediately, this fellow who is, Ravi, she said, teacher, but it's okay to tie, but how do they know where to tie? And, Janaki, the teacher, she smiled and she said, see, the ties indicate the design we want. So, as the design that they are wanting, the same place they will tie these knots. Okay, so we can look at the design or a motif and a tie. Okay, so like they will just take the sample one before they could tie, and in that same place they will start tying these plastic ones. So now, Ravi, you are absolutely right, the teacher said. It's not easy. Okay, because Ravi, he looked a little puzzled in the sense, was confused, like how do the people simply just tie and get these type of designs. Okay, so now immediately the teacher said, Ravi, you are absolutely right, the teacher said. It is not easy. First, you count the threads, measure the distance, calculate when to repeat a pattern. Only then you can tie the knots. Okay, so this is a proper calculation where the teacher says it's not so easy to tie them. First, you have to count the threads. After that, you measure the distance of the threads. Later, you calculate to repeat the pattern. For example, if you are tying, see here, for example, if you are tying this rubber here in this place, you measure the distance, again tie in the same distance. Okay, as you can see, this is the small tie here, this is small design here, there is some space when they tied. So this is little bigger one. So this is of, they make designs by using these plastic sheets and rubber sheets. Teacher, it seems like difficult maths, Ramya said. So Ramya also said, see, this looks little like math, because in math also, we usually have the x arrows, y arrows, the difference, the distance and all, exactly how to put there, then only we'll get the correct answer. So just like the math, even these people, they don't do the math here, but it is a habituated knowledge. Okay, they already have inculcated this knowledge, and they can know where to tie the knots, how to make the designs. Okay, if they want small design, they use small thread. If they want big design, they make big threads. Correct. Weavers may not be formally educated, but have complex calculations at their fingertips. So this is what I said. So these weavers who are not even educated, might not know any mathematics and all the formal education, but it is the calculation of their fingertips. They are habituated to do this work. They draw patterns on the graphs and copy them on the threads. So before they could tie these threads on these bundles, they have this type of copies, okay, just like graphs, just like the duplicate ones. So after that they continue tying these knots on the original bundles. So then she said, just close your eyes and imagine threads stretched out long with dots of different colors shining. I have seen such a sight in villages of Nalgonda, someone said. So now Janaki teacher is asking the students, just close your eyes and imagine the long threads which are with small, small dots and designs and all. So immediately some students here, said, ma'am, I have seen this type of colors and all in, Nalgonda. Teacher, the dots are like raindrops. Raindrops in the sense, the chukka. In Telugu, we call it as chukka, the small dots. That is how the name Chitki Rumal. This was the favorite headgear of the fishermen and other laborers. It was also the towel on the shoulders of traders in Gujarat. So, on the rumal, on the kerchief, which the workers in Gujarat and other laborers and other traders, you can see the small kerchief which is with the small dots. Okay, so this is the same one. The chukka is nothing but the the ikats, okay, and the rumal, the kerchief. So it is just like chitki rumal, that means the dotted kerchief. Okay, so this is used by the workers and the laborers. Suddenly she suddenly thought of another explanation. She asked, children, when you have to measure a small quantity of a material, you use a specific word in Telugu. This time Ramya answered promptly, Chitikedu. And before she completed, comprehension was written large on every child's face. Okay, so immediately she asked a question asking, so when you want to measure very small measurement in Telugu, what do you call it? Immediately Ramya said, Chitikedu. So everybody was paying so much of attention there. Here, yeah, she continued saying like this, teacher, Chitiki means small and small dots of color which are characteristics of Ikat. They caused. The class was jubilant. They were able to come up with an original explanation for a historical phrase, Ikat. Okay, so now finally they have understood that Ikat is nothing but the small dot, or in Telugu it is called as the small one, Chitiki. Okay, it is just like the small measurement. So finally, okay, this child said, so ma'am, so just like we have chitki in Telugu, it is just like the small color or small dots in English. So everybody understood the meaning of ikat now, and the class was so jubilant. Everybody was so happy for understanding it. So finally they were able to come up with an with a good conclusion for this historical term. When trade was vigorous with other nations in South East Asia, tie and dye or chitki as lengths of fabric was a favorite export item both in silk and cotton. She said, there are other interesting stories of ikat. Different regions fight about its origin. Did it travel from Gujarat to South or vice versa? Did it first originate in coastal belt of Andhra Pradesh and travel to Nalgonda? There is no systematic historical documentation to resolve this dispute. The class was fully attentive now. So now, even she continued saying like this. There was once the trade was very good in the South Asian and East Asian, areas. This tie and dye, this chitki, was the favorite export item which was exported, and these chitkis were on both silk and cotton cloths. And she also said, see, there are many interesting stories on this ikat also. Different regions fight for its origin, like just like Hyderabad people fight for the term biryani as though it belongs to Hyderabad. But finally, there was no officially confirmed statement to say that the term Hyderabad, the term biryani belongs to Hyderabad. Okay, so just the Hyderabad fought for this term. Even the countries, different countries were fighting for this term, which is ikat. And she was also asking, like, did it travel from Gujarat to South or vice versa? From Gujarat, okay, on the north to the South states, or did it originate in the coastal belt of Andhra Pradesh and travel to Nalgonda? Nobody knows from where it was originated. So since there was no proper historical documentation, there was no no, there was no solution for this dispute. Like no one knows from where this ikat type of cloths were produced. Okay, nobody knows its origin. So now the class was fully attentive, because many different things, different informations have been untold by this, unfolded by this teacher here. So for Raksha Bandhan, the tying of the knot was done by yellow and red ikat dyed threads. In our tradition, tying the knot is sacred. So in Raksha Bandhan also, what do the sisters do? Sisters tie these Raksha Bandhan threads to brothers, and in that case also, at that Raksha Bandhan, usually it has the small dotted type of patterns and all. Okay, so it has become our tradition. So in our tradition, tying the knot is sacred. Tying this knot, okay, is also sacred in our tradition. Tying this Raksha Bandhan is a sacred or a holy, festival in in the this one religion of Hinduism. So maybe this has a relation to tying and dyeing process. But in parts of Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Deccan, designs in ikat were very much influenced by the Muslim culture. So this type of design, or this type of relation between uh, you know um, the religion and the weavers is, might be it is like tying and dyeing process. And she also mentioned, but some of the parts of Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Deccan, they are very much influential, and also this pattern is very much influenced by the Muslim culture. Most of the Muslim people use these rumals when they do this namaz, right? So when these people do namaz, the Muslims do namaz. So when they do namaz, they place one small cloth, before they could sit in that place. So that small cloth usually they are with dotted, colors, different dotted colors. So the bell was ringing, but the class was lost in a period where vibrant colors and compelling stories were woven into beautiful fabrics. So now different compelling stories now are woven into beautiful fabrics. So now finally the untelling story, unfolding story of ikat is now called as though it is a good fabric. Okay, students. So this is written by Dr. B. Shamasundari, and below there is glossary here. That glossary I will deal in the next class. And this is it for this video. And in the next video, we'll be going with reading B, that is the Earthen Goblet, that is poem. Okay, once go through the glossary if you have text. If you do not have text, you can wait for the grammar part. So there I will be explaining the grammar of the 3 lessons, and also in that I will include this glossary. Okay, students, so this is it for this video. And before you could leave the video, don't forget to subscribe to Kiran's English Hub to get the updates whenever I upload the next videos. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.